Now, here's a question for you. What do you do when you think an elderly relative might not be fit for the roads anymore? It's an issue that has been highlighted by Hampshire police after a man with dementia reversed his car into a river. Thankfully, he was OK, but it got us thinking, would you report a relative if you did feel that they were incapable of driving safely? I know I've been through this one. Jane, you had to think about it in your family too?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't report a relative.
No,
I would have the conversation with them, and it's a really, really hard conversation to have because, you know, a car is a big signal of independence, isn't it? And I love my car. When I get in my little car and I'm driving, I feel free, I feel independent, I love driving. And I know the day that one of my kids says to me, come on, you can't drive this anymore, I'm going to be devastated. And I had to have that conversation with my mum because her eyesight is not great. And, you know, there hadn't been an incident, but I could anticipate that there could be an incident that could be devastating, not just for her, but for the whole family. You know, you just don't know what's going to happen, and you do have to, you do have to face up to that reality. So I sat her down, and she was not pleased, and she still goes on about it now. But I just took the keys.
Yeah, well, God, I had that with... Well, I didn't have it with my dad so much because my mum was still there and she was the boss. But Dad had a couple of little accidents. Thankfully, nobody was hurt at all. They were very, very minor. But there was probably a period of some months whereby, you know, it was a sort of slow realisation. But, I mean, as you say, Jane, you are taking away
the last bit of independence,
so much.
Really.
And it's also a sense of self.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you think when you pass your driving test when you're 17, well, I don't know if young kids will do it these days, but certainly when we were that age, I mean, that was mark of adulthood. You were definitely entering into, you know, that phase of independence in your life, control over your own life. And to have that taken away, it's not just about getting around the place, is it? It's about being that self-sufficient, autonomous being.
And there's lots of younger drivers that have accidents and behave recklessly. So it's not about that so much. It's about reaction time and with my mum, it was just eyesight. But I'd be equally reluctant to put my 17-year-old into a fast car because I wouldn't feel that they had the experience.
I think that sorry, Brenda, I think that's the thing. I mean, sometimes when they go, like even in that example, you know, he was going to nearly reversed into a river. I also think that sometimes as soon as a person over a certain age makes one mistake, everyone jumps on well, they're too old to drive, they shouldn't be driving. Yeah. You know, I've made so many mistakes when I've been driving. You know, I drove through my garage doors because I thought I was in reverse. You know, and I was 23 and I absolutely battered the garage doors in. I'm like this and went straight through. It was like a comedy sketch at the time. Luckily, no one was hurt. But if I'd have been a certain age... You know, like, if I did that now, well, not now, but maybe in another 10, 20 years, my kids go, you can't drive anymore. And I think, well, we're all entitled to make the odd mistake.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, as you guys are all saying, I think, you know, when I passed my test and then the kids passed their test, I would say, well, I've passed my test to be alert of the other drivers on the road rather than more than what I am. But I think maybe a way around it is to maybe have some sort of driving simulator thing that people can go regularly for a test for.
Or should go at a certain
age. Or, you know, if there's an offence, then you do this whole driving simulator thing to re-educate
I definitely
yourself.
think we could do with some help because certainly thinking back to that conversation with my dad and how difficult it was and painful it was for everybody involved. You know, if, I don't know... And I know GPs have got enough on their plate, but, I mean, if there had been some sort of checklist where you could go to GP and the GP would say, look, let's just give you a little, I don't know, reaction test or whatever. So rather than you as the family appearing to sort of...
yeah, but you sort of see the everyday behaviours.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're over 70, you have to renew your licence every 3 years now, and there will be eyesight is a big thing, and it says here that you know, you have to read a number plate from 20 metres, whatever. But here's a question for you, right? How many registered drivers do you think there are in this country over the age of 70?
Oh, God,
registered?
Oh,
well, like people driving?
Yeah. Oh, God,
over 20-30%?
No, but in a number.
Oh. Right, I'm going to go for 600,000.
A million.
1.5.
10 million.
10 million?
10 million, and several hundred are over the age of 100.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's nice to know that we're living longer.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Hopefully, by the time we get to that stage, that we're going to be in driverless cars anyway, and we're not even going to have to bother, which I think will be delightful.